Hello, I'm Gina T. Welcome to Compelled to Impact, a channel where you can renew your mind and transform your life. This is episode 70, Forgiveness and Grace. I'm very, very grateful for you stopping here and listening. I'd love to hear what you think of these episodes and if they help you expand your life in new ways. When I started out, I was really awkward. It was so uncomfortable for me. But I think I'm getting a hang of it. I don't know. You tell me. No, you don't need to tell me. I'm pretty sure because I'm more comfortable with all of this and being a little more spontaneous. I haven't recorded in a couple of weeks because I had several things going on and guests. So it was just a couple of weeks off. If what I talk about makes you ask more questions, that's good too. One of the best traits you can have to create a better life for yourself is curiosity. And test what I say or what anyone says. No one is 100% right all the time. We all have different perceptions and different experiences. So make sure you leave grace for yourself and for others. In episode 67, I talked about forgiving yourself. Much of the time, we are moved to forgive someone else or ask for forgiveness from them. However, it's usually rare to look at how you've made choices that may have set you on a wrong path or have tripped you up a little along the way. In any case, forgiveness and grace open the doors to living a more excellent life. These go hand in hand, whether toward yourself or someone else. It's more normal for people to have a harder time giving themselves grace and letting go of whatever has a hold on you. So have more grace for yourself when you're having a hard time letting go. If you are, then it's usually because there's something inside of you that needs to be addressed. And that's okay too. We are all on our own journey to get to a state of being perfected every day. So 2 weekends ago, excuse me, I had the privilege to help organize a paddle out for someone I only slightly knew for a few years, decades ago. For those who don't know, a paddle out is the most honorable way to release remains and say farewell to someone who was a surfer. It involves a ceremony the night before to prepare the ashes by wrapping them in tea leaves. That's TI, a tropical broadleaf evergreen plant. It's a private ceremony for family and close friends to grieve, share memories, forgive, and hold each other up. It might be a time where painful memories surface. That's not a bad thing since you can only heal the memories you know about. It seems that many of those memories are not as simple as the keeper of them originally thought, at least some of the time. This is a process brought about by different events and circumstances for each person. But you must remember that each person in any situation has a different perspective. We respect each other's space and their perspective because that's what we would want for ourselves. It's inevitable that even in a family where two people are standing there during an experience, they will each perceive it, receive it, respond, and remember it differently. At any given time, each of us only knows what we know. It's impossible for someone to see and understand your point of view if you don't communicate effectively. It's also impossible to expect forgiveness if you're the only one feeling and thinking that one way in your head where no one else resides. And if you don't say anything, they won't know. That's what communication is good for, to understand each other better. And in that understanding, we learn to love each other better. Over time, those memories might grow legs. In other words, they might take on a different perspective in your mind. They might become the fantasy of the best thing ever, or they could become the thing that has debilitated you or caused immense ongoing pain. One important thing is that resolving any memories begins with exposing them, bringing them into the light so that you are able to see them more clearly, whether they're good, bad, or ugly. If it's something that causes you to stay stagnant or worse, fester in some areas of your thoughts and feelings, it's time to forgive yourself for holding on to it. You need to surrender and release so that you hold space for better things. No one else will ever see or feel it exactly how you do, and that's okay. They are not you. They're not in your mind or heart. They can't see from your perspective. You can't expect anyone else to, just like they can't expect you to. Give them grace for that and celebrate them being who they are and growing from that point forward. If you need to forgive someone, whether in person or just in your heart and mind, then always do it with grace and compassion. Just like you only know what you know at any given time, they only knew what they knew and did the best they could. I know I repeat this over and over, but it's something we need to really hold on to during these times of change and hopefully progressing into the masterpiece that we were meant to be. You are into this, I'm sorry, you are in this human experience to learn and grow. This is a huge part of your practical divine purpose. It's ongoing and ever-changing, not linear at all, but circular, always connected, like it goes like this, and forward moving. Moving with your life experience means you can always start from your previous experiences. As long as you continue to forgive, be graceful to yourself and others. You are always clearing out the gunk and junk that otherwise might accumulate. You only start from scratch once. Then you build up your library of experiences to draw from. I wish I had known this earlier in life. It would have saved me from choices I made thinking they were good choices in the moment, but turned out to be devastating in some way. Still, regrets are useless, dragging up a plethora of more gunk and junk that probably isn't even mine to begin with. Same with you. Just deal with what's yours to deal with and forgive yourself and others with grace and compassion. Clearly communicate those things that will add value to health, wealth, and relationships. The two top rules in our home when my children were young were communicate so that everyone understands and cooperate so that everyone wins. And I don't mean win like a trophy because you showed up. I mean, so everyone has a deep satisfaction for whatever the thing was that we were going through. Once you know how to completely forgive yourself with grace and compassion, you know that freedom, you begin to know that freedom and are more easily able to completely release others through forgiveness with grace and compassion. We are not supposed to be holding others or ourselves captive through unforgiveness. And that's exactly what it does. It holds you captive. Go through whatever process helps you release that person and the responsibility you've taken on to keep them captive. And then as you release and you surrender, it's not a privilege, the burden of having that kind of control in your life. As you release that, you start to feel more joy and you level up your life and your alignment. Okay, well, that's it for today. I hope it's something you can use. I'd love to hear what you think, and I'll usually read and respond to your comments within 2 days. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, or any of those things, but I am a student of life and a student of being human because I always wanted to know, what is this all about? since no one could really tell me back when I was in my teens and 20s and even 30s. There were things happening that no one could explain. We'll just deal with it, just do it. And couldn't tell me how when I would say, how do I do that? Nobody had answers. So I became a student of life and lifelong learner of everything that surrounds us as humans and surrounds our spirit, which is the eternal part of us that comes into this life and goes out into infinity. I'm good at this. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you listening and subscribing and liking and sharing and commenting. Keep seeking and learning. Stay open to possibilities of grace, compassion, and love. And as always, live excellently, give generously, and love lavishly. Ciao. Mwah.